Friends, you are watching YouTube. Welcome to my YouTube channel, The Dark Files. What if the answer was always right there, hidden inside 340 random looking symbols? What if a killer encoded his own identity in plain sight, taunted the world with it for 50 years and nearly got away with it forever? Welcome back to Dark Files. Last week we covered the full story of the Zodiac Killer, his confirmed murders, his letters, his top suspects. If you haven't seen that episode, the link is pinned in the first comment. Watch it first. Today we go deeper. Today we crack the codes. What is a cipher? Before we get it into the zodiac specific codes, let's make sure we are all on the same page. What is a cipher? A cipher is a system for encoding a message, replacing letters with symbols, numbers, or other letters according to a secret key. The person who knows the key can decode it. Everyone else sees noise. The Zodiac used what cryptographers call a homophonic substitution cipher, a system where common letters like E, T, and A are replaced by the multiple different symbols to make frequency analysis harder. That's why the Zodiac 408 took even trained cryptographers by surprise. The Zodiac wasn't using a simple Kaiser cipher. We knew that what he was doing. Or did he? That's one of the great debates in this case. Was the Zodiac a trained cryptographer, a self-taught hobbyist, or did he use a cipher method he found in a book and get lucky that it helped up? Let's look at each cipher one by one. The Z408, the one they cracked, August 1st, 1969. Three envelopes arrived at three different California newspapers. Simultaneously, inside each one, a letter, a claim of responsibility for the recent murders, and one third of a 408 symbol cryptogram. The killer demanded the newspaper print the cipher on their front pages. He implied his identity was hidden inside. The newspapers printed them, and within just a few days, a high school history teacher from Salinas named Donald Harden and his wife Bettye sat down at their kitchen table and solved it. How? Bettye made a crucial assumption that the zodiac, like most people writing about themselves, would use the word I early in the message. She also assumed he might use the word kill. She looked for a symbol that appeared frequently, followed by common patterns. Working together, he hardens reverse engineered the key symbol by symbol over several days. What did the message say? It began with a declaration of prayer in killing. It spoke of collecting slaves for the afterlife. It was disturbing, nihilistic, and conspicuously unsigned. The Zodiac had promised his name was in there. It wasn't. Or at least no cryptographer has ever found it. Some believe the Zodiac never included his name at all, that the whole promise was a lie. But to get the papers to publish his words and make him famous. If so, it worked perfectly. But Z340, 51 years to solve. November 8th, 1969, 3 months after the Z408 was sent and cracked, the Zodiac mailed a new cipher. This one had 340 symbols. It became known simple as the 340. For 51 years, it defeated everyone. FBI, cryptanalytic, NSA consultants, professional code breakers, university mathematics department, amateur hobbyists working in basements, thousands of attempts, all failed. Here's why it was so hard. The Zodiac changed his method. In the Z408, the cipher read left to right, top to bottom, normal reading order. In the 340, he introduced a transposition layer on top of the substitution. That means even after you fire out what symbol represent what letter, the letters themselves are scrambled. You have to unscramble them before the message makes sense. For decodes, solvers didn't know that transpositions was even part of the cipher. They kept trying to decode the symbols directly and getting gibberish. Then came David Oranchak. Oranchak is a software developer from Virginia who had been studying the Z340 for over a decade. In 2020, he partnered with mathematicians Sam Blake and Belgian software developer Jarl van Eycke. When Eycke had built a specialized cipher-cracked program called Is A Cipher, Blake developed a new statistical model for testing potential solutions. Together, they run the cipher through millions of transitions pattern combinations, and in December 2020, the algorithm landed on something that wasn't gibberish. It was English. The decoded Z340 continued the Zodiac's twisted philosophy. References to a gas chamber, more taunting of police, a self-congratulatory tone, and buried inside a single mocking line directed at investigators. The FBI confirmed the solution was valid. After 51 years, the Zodiac 340 had fallen. But here's the thing, like the Z408, the Z340 contained no name, no location, no confession that could identify the killer, just more darkness. Z13. My name is. Of all the Zodiac ciphers, the Z13 is the most tantalizing and the most maddening. It was sent on April 20th, 1970, attached to a letter that began, "My name is," followed by 13 handwritten symbols. The implication was unmistakable. The Zodiac was finally giving up his name, encoded. But there, if the Z13 contains a real name, a first name, a last name, or both, solving it would, in theory, identify the killer. Over 50 years later, it remains unsolved. Why is it so hard? 13 symbols is simply not enough data. With a longer cipher, patterns emerge. Frequency analysis works. A solver can test assumptions and see if the result makes sense. with only 13 symbols. There are thousands of equally valid possible solutions. Any short word or name could theoretically fit without addition, constraints, without knowing anything about the key. There's no way to know which solution, if any, is correct. In 2021, the case breakers claimed the had cracked the Z13, finding the name Gray Francis post through an engram and cross referencing it with physical evidence. The FBI did not confirm the result. Independent cryptographers were skeptical. The Z13 remains officially unsolved, and yet somewhere the answer might be sitting right there in 13 symbol waiting. A Z32, the tripping pen card. The fourth cipher is the least discussed but arguable, the most cryptic in its presentation. On April 28, 1970, a card arrived at the San Francisco Chronicle. On the front, an illustration of a hand painted crossed circle dripping with dark ink. The zodiac symbol, sinister, theatrical. On the inside, 32 handwritten symbols, a brief message claiming the writer was not sick, and a demand for attorney Melvin Bettye, who had been publicly appealing to the Zodiac on television. The 32 symbol cipher at the bottom of the card has never been solved. Like the Z13, its short length makes frequency analysis nearly possible. Like the Z13, there's no clear indication of what the cipher is supposed to contain. No, my name is, no promise, just symbols. Some researchers believe the Z32 may not be a real cipher at all. That's it, deliberate nonsense, a taunt with no solution, designed to waste investigators' time. Others believe it encodes a location, a name, a confession. Nobody knows, and that right there is what makes the Zodiac so enduringly disturbing. And AI solved the remaining ciphers. With the rise of artificial intelligence, and machine learning, a natural question emerges. Could modern AI finally crack the Z13 and Z32? The honest answer, maybe, but not in the way you might think. AI excels at pattern recognition across large datasets. The Z340 was cracked partly through a computer program testing millions of transposition combinations, something no human team could do manually in a responsible time frame. That same approach applied to the Z13 and Z32 runs into the same fundamental flaw: not enough data. With only 13 or 32 symbols, even the most powerful AI faces a combinational explosion of equally plausible solutions. It can narrow them down. It can rank them by probability. But without additional constraints, without a confirmed key, without a known word in the message, it cannot definitely choose the right answer. What AI could do is cross reference potential solutions against database of real names, addresses, and known associations from the 1960s Bay Area. If the Z30 decode to a real name that matches a person connected to the case, that convergence of evidence could be processed even without mathematical constraints. That work is going right now. As you watch this video, there are a team of researchers, hobbyists, and programmers running the Zodiac Cipher. Through new algorithms, the Z13 may be cracked tomorrow, or it may survive another 50 years. Efforts to solve, to still hiding their secret after more than half a century. The Zodiac was many things: a killer, a showman, a narcissist, a coward, but he was also undeniable, smart, smart enough to design codes that would outlast him, smart enough to taunt an entire nation and never be identified. Or was he smart enough? The Z408 fell in days. The Z340 fell in 51 years. The Z13 has only 13 symbols, and somewhere in the world, the person who put them there may have taken the key to their grave, or maybe not. This is Dark Files. You don't give up on a case. Next episode, we leave the Zodiac behind and step into one of the most baffling disappearance in American history. A man boards a plane. He hijacks it. He demands $2 lakh in ransom, and then somewhere over the Pacific Northwest, he jumps out with a parachute and was never seen again. His name, or at least the name he used, was D.B. Copper. I will see you in the dark.